Good afternoon, delegates, participants of the one-year program, and all our guests that we have today on the call. Welcome to this afternoon's call, and I look forward to what we're going to get from the coaches in this afternoon. They have been busy in setting up and making sure that we have something that will unilaterally assist you and help you in your journey. Remember, the one-year program is an opportunity for you to journey with 5 coaches from 5 different verticals, helping and assisting you from personal to mindset, personal to business coach, to Waymarker coach, to implementation coach, to mindset coach. A journey that you walk with 5 coaches for you. It's only for you. It's for nothing else. It's for you to get a better you out of it, to make sure that whatever you compose for the rest of your life is to the maximum, to the hilt of who you are and what you can achieve in your life. And I'm excited to share with you the little bit that I created for my little time when I'm on. But today we're going to start with Carl. I see, Stephen, I see in the chat box that you say load shedding about to start. Our load shedding just stopped. We had load shedding from 10 till just now. And we're not going to care about load shedding. We're just going to continue in any case. But welcome, Stephen. We trust that we'll see you here. To all those who are guests here today, welcome to the school. You'll see that later in the program or later during the course of this program today, we will give you the opportunity to make comments, to ask questions. If you have a question, if you have a comment, please use the chat box in the meantime. I'm not going to enable the microphones now. But today we're going to start with our business coach, and Carl Schultz, our business coach. And I have the privilege of journeying with Carl for a number of years already, and I got to know him well. And what a prolific guy. And he truly understands business coaching. He truly always sees the positive, the best possible outcome for any person in any situation. And that is a gift. And Carl, thank you for being first this today with regards to the coaches. We're not going to go to the normal Monday to Friday mode of mingle or mix them up. So today we start with our business coach, Carl Schultz.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. It's an awesome privilege to be with you again and just to share with you in this space. I think if I have to think about the topic, Marius has chosen the topic for us today and posted a little thing in WhatsApp, and it's all about your dash. So it's all about what you do between the day you're born and the day you die. And I remember, if I had to think back, it's probably about 30 years now. I had a friend and we shared a house together, and I think he was 22 when he died. There was an armed robbery and he was shot and killed in the armed robbery. And I remember attending his funeral. Now, going back, I was also around about that age. And I remember sitting there in that little church in Springs at this friend of mine's funeral. And I was quite shocked to see how few people were at the funeral. There was literally his parents, his brother and his sister, and probably a handful of people. And when I say a handful, it was less than 20 people. And he was a good guy. There was nothing wrong with him. He was a very likable person. But I remember looking at that and thinking to myself, wow, it's like only 20 people came to his funeral. Only 20 people were impacted by his life of 22 years that made the effort to attend his funeral. And I remember sitting there and listening to some of the people that shared. I got to share as well. And then thinking to myself, you know what, one day when it's my funeral, I want the halls to be full. I want them to bus people in because of the impact that I had on people's lives. And that became a challenge for me to start moving in the direction that I decided there and then that the dash on my tombstone would be lives impacted. And that's why I started doing what I'm doing, the coaching and the speaking and the motivating and the influencing, because I wanted every single person that I spent time with to come away and say that it was worth spending my time with that. I feel better. I feel encouraged, more positive now that I've been with you. And that's been my driving force since then. And please don't get me wrong, it's not about the numbers. It's not about having like busloads full of people in that. That's a figurative kind of thing. It's about just making life better for the people around me, making life better for everyone around me. That includes your family, your close family, your friends. And so the question I'm leaving you with, when we consider the dash, what impact are people going to look at you one day and say, you know what, I'm better off because Tertius was in the world. And I'm saying Tertius because he's going to come up next. I'm better off because Nico was in the world, or I'm better off because Jason was in the world, in my life, in my world. And I think we sometimes forget that. We forget the impact that we have on people's lives and on the people around us. We're so busy fighting these battles and fighting our own battles, and we're so busy surviving or getting over the stuff that's us, our importance, me, and it's about me and what I'm doing and what I'm going through. And we see that a lot in the coaching space because people come to us for coaching and the coaching session's all about them. And so my challenge is to just consider the people around you and what they get out of you being around. Tertius, take it away.
Okay, so there we go. Managed to get that done. Thanks, Carl, for that. The story that you just shared really resonates with me because at school I was also not one of the more popular guys, not the sports player, and ended up being in a smaller group. A friend of mine also passed away, motorcycle accident. I drove up from Pretoria up to Harare for his funeral. And like you, I was amazed. But there were probably about almost 100 people at that funeral. And in the short span that he'd been here, he impacted people incredibly. And now I can't say that was the driver for me. For me, it was just a challenge to get from one day to the next and making sure that I got something done. And that's probably been part of my path going forwards. But looking at that dash, that's our theme for today. Between when you were born, when you die, there's a saying, I'm not sure who exactly it's attributed to, but the most important day is the day that you discover why you were born, what you were born here for. And just linking to what Carl's been sharing with us, it's about relationship, it's about community, it's about the people around you. Otherwise, you can literally arrive and leave this earth without anyone even knowing that you've been here. And I don't think any of us want to be in that situation. That being said, looking at the implementation side, my role in this coaching program has been to encourage you to make sure you're doing the right things at the right time so that you can get the right results. Working from the stuff that Marius was sharing with us in terms of setting our goals, knowing where we're going. And I find myself often going back to that. The folks on the program will know that I often refer in the program as well as on these calls, I often refer to just if you've gotten stuck somewhere, just stop and start again. Start with something small. If you found yourself going off track, just stop. You can't necessarily catch up and get to where you wanted to be now, but you can always start going from where you want to leave something with you today in terms of getting things done when you've decided you want to do something, or when, let me rephrase that, when you want to do something, when you want to achieve something, when you want to take the steps to get to that thing that you want. Just take a decision to do something, because often we find ourselves in a position where we think about doing something, we mean to do something, we plan to do something, but we haven't actually done it. We haven't actually done anything to get there. So just take a decision and start doing something, because even a wrong decision is better than no decision. If you've found that you've made a wrong decision and that this path you're walking on is not going to get to your destination, you can always take another decision. But if you're in indecision, that can really debilitate you, and you can end up being just that little dash, not knowing where you're going, why you're going, what you're there for. And I don't think any of us want to be that. So my encouragement to you today is just take a decision. Take that decision and take the first step. So I'm going to hand over now to Nico. Is that right, Carl? Nico's the next coach on the call. So Nico, please share what you have prepared for us today on the day.
Yes, hello to everyone as well from my side. I think if we can walk away here with something woven together by everything that we would say, I think that would be very valuable, because as Carl and same with Tertius, as they spoke, so many things came to mind. When we started, or when we got the information about the topic, I was thinking, it took me somehow back to my understanding of how one would typically do strategic planning in corporate. You have something, then you have something, and then you have something. And if you put these three somethings on a timeline, you have a current state. You are at a certain place, and your birth date is a place where you start. And then your dash is your journey, and your desired state is typically the lighthouse that guides you to keep on track with going in the right direction. And they call it the current state and the strategic path and the desired state. Those are the words that they would use. And just to add on to maybe two things that Tertius said, indecision is a decision. If you decide not to make a decision, that is a decision. Or if you don't make a decision, that is a decision. So the encouragement is, like he said, is to, if you need to do something, just do it. That is usually Marius' slogan, just do it. Don't wait around. Don't just ponder, think, meditate, plan, and strategize about what you would like to achieve. Go out and do that. So the dash, I've been thinking, there's a kind of a question I would sometimes ask people when I sit with them in coaching is, what would you like one day to be written on your tombstone? That would be the dash. You have a start and an end, but the dash, what would be that thing that needs to be written on your tombstone that would give an accurate expression of what your life is all about? What was it about? Now, I've got, in my case, specific instructions that I've given my family. Mine is 4 words: this man died empty. So that is my dash. This man died empty. Everything that was given and placed within this body and spirit and soul was poured out, was given. And it was in its appropriate time, it was given what I had to give. The whole thing of giving. And the older one gets, obviously, many of us, as we journey and get older, we realize this shift from success to significance entail, amongst many things, that we start to become more giving and sharing and mentoring as one of them. And in our case, coaching, sharing wisdom. In your case, it could be money, it could be anything that you have to give. And in that giving, you give expression to who you are. You are living the dash. And then in the end, we can die empty. We don't want to populate the cemetery with a lot of potential that should have been released when we had the chance while we lived. You want to express that potential in your lifetime, because that's what it's meant for. It's not meant for the graveyard, never. It's meant for now. And you know what Tertius also said, it's so apt, me and my thinking about identity and purpose. And he just mentioned the one side, actually. There are 2 great days in life: the day that you're born and the day that you find out why. And that why, if you come to that place, part of that why, usually discover, and that I've seen with many people, that why of yours, it inspires you. It gives you a motivation, an internal motivation, just to express this great person that you are. I know we don't sit around thinking about, I'm great and there's greatness in me. You should from time to time, and you should realize and acknowledge that it's good. Some people might be very focused on their development areas, which is in some seasons good, but not always. Just go there and think about what's wrong with you. Think what's right about you and what you can add and what you can contribute. So as a kind of a encapsulating this for where you and I are right now, because we've never been here in time, we've never been here. This is like the forefront of our own histories. There's this beautiful phrase that Arthur Ashe used to express, to say, to coin, to term, to define. He said, start where you are, use what you have and do what you can. So for you and I, getting inspiration about what's being said here, and you feel like there's still so much that you have to give and do and become and materialize and realize and express. Just tone it down, know that you're on your way, you're living the dash, and just start where you are now and just use what you have now and just do what you can now. So with that, I would like to introduce Dani as our next coach.
Cool. Thank you, Nico. Yes, what a privilege to sit with the minds of the other coaches together and to just reminisce about these things about life. And in the past week, my wife counseled a young lady who are troubled. She contemplates suicide. Yesterday, we found out that another person, not that same lady, another person that we know well has committed suicide. So terrible that people get into living out their lives, get to a place where they feel that they're not adding, they feel that they're not being heard to an extent that they contemplate suicide to teach someone else a lesson, to commit suicide. And it's not what I want to talk about today, but it's just that is happening in my life at the moment, and I'm congruent with you to where I am. But as you know me, I've got 2 books. The first book is my trusted old sword, my trusted old sword that I have and carry with me since 1982. And the other one is the book that I use to help and assist you, the Think and Grow Rich. And today I'm not going to take something out of Think and Grow Rich to talk to you about. I've got the idea when Marius said, let's use this today. And I thought, let's go look at 1 or 2 people. And someone that made an impact in my life through his life story is a guy called Steve Paul Jobs. Now, Steve Paul Jobs was born on the 24th of February, 1955, and he passed away on the 5th of October, 2011. He was in his 50s. And every one of you, if I say Apple, you will know exactly who Steve Paul Jobs is. And maybe if I say Pixar, because he was a board member of Pixar as well. But what's so amazing about Steve Jobs for me, apart from what he's done, is, and I don't know what's on his epitaph. I don't know what's written on his epitaph. I don't know that. I didn't try and Google that. But for me, Steve Jobs, whenever I think of Steve Jobs, the words that come up is the impossible was possible. He just told his team, whenever they told him, especially with the Apple phone, when they got to the Apple phone to develop it and to do it, they told him it's impossible. And he said, but it is possible. For him, the impossible was possible. And he lived his life. And most of us today, he was the instigator of smartphones as we know it. And that changed our lives because he thought you should walk around with a computer in your hand. And this iPhone of mine, the computing power that they used to visit the moon in the 60s was way less than what I have on my cell phone. So to me, I would like that, leave that with you with regards to Steve Jobs. The impossible was possible. But then I want to go look at another person as well. And what makes this person amazing, just a different kind of outlook in life. And he's not a very well-known person. But a year ago, I had the privilege to be in Dubai again with Marius a year ago when we were there. And we visited a building called Burj Khalifa. And we were actually in the bottom of the building, in the Burj Khalifa. And that's the tallest building in the world when it was built in 2010. And the person, the architect of that building is a very unknown person, but he built some very prestigious buildings. And what I want to say about him, his name is Adrian Smith. But what I want to say about Adrian Smith, and here's the key. Adrian Smith's company, his architect firm, they go by this slogan. So that is Adrian Smith's slogan. We are not limited by known solutions. We are not limited by known solutions. Just imagine a person that lives by the words, we are not limited by known solutions. And that is someone that's pushing the boundaries, and they continually building buildings that are way above what anyone thought is possible. And today I would like to encourage you as the mindset coach. I would like to encourage you to take your mindset to a Steve Jobs mindset. Let's say, the impossible was possible. The impossible is possible. To Adrian Smith that say, we are not limited by known solutions. We're not going to draw you a building. We're not going to do an architectural drawing for you based on what is known. What are the known solutions in the world? We will push the boundaries. Are you willing to walk with us? And I think that is something that I would like to leave with regards to the topic for this afternoon. So with that said, allow me to introduce you to our Waymarker coach, none other than Marius.
Daniel, thank you. It's great to be here. And it sounds like such a depressing topic that I chose today, but it is not. It is a thought and a food for thought. And just another more depressing thought is, what if today is your last day on earth? Just think of it. Think of your priorities. Think of your values. Think of the most important things that you will do today if you know it's your last day. But luckily for us, it is not our last day. Today is a wonderful day because it will never happen again. You will never have this day in your life again. That is what I love that Nico Liebenberg always say, living in the present. Live the moment. Live as if it's your last day. That is why today is called the present. It is a present. It is a gift. And we have to treat it as a gift. Just a thought for you to master your time is be exactly where you want to go to. That is why we set goals in all areas of your life. Jason, I love that dog. I hope it is not going for the, wat sê ek altyd, hy gaan vir die kill. And make sure that you are aware on a daily basis of where you want to go to. And then make those choices. Make that daily choices of what you want to do to achieve that. And then the results will come. And I'm busy with my vision board just to make it a bit nicer of all my past achievements. And that is my results of my goals and my awareness and my choices that I made. And I can just tell you guys, not one of you will be at my funeral one day because I'm going to outlive you. I'm going to get to at least 150 years old. Thank you. I will be at your funeral. No, it is just a joke. Yeah, you will never know what is your next day, but live your life to the fullest. Make sure that dash between your birthday and the day that you die, one day, you make an absolute difference in life. You make an absolute difference in other people's life as well. They say that research tell you that the three things that the people on their deathbed say, that they didn't take enough time to reflect, they didn't love enough, and they didn't take enough risks and live their lives to the fullest. Take that for yourself and make sure that when you're lying on your deathbed in 50 years' time, don't worry about the cars that you've been driving and the houses that you live in and the nice things that you do. But it was the values and the family and the friends and the love around you that made the difference in your life. So, Daniel, thank you for that. It's an absolute privilege to be here again.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for us, that's privileged to work together with 5 coaches. We understand what we have amongst these 5 coaches and that every one of them is as real a human being and congruent to you in what they teach and show and guide you with during the course of this one-year program. So thank you, every coach, for your time that you've given us and your thoughts on the topic. And you could hear that none of them has gone negative with that because it's not within our frame of mind. And I am privileged to have this group of guys as a mastermind with regards to this program. Before I open the mic to everyone, I'm going to do it different today. I'm going to open the mic, but I want you to think so long what you want to ask. You can type away in the chat box. I see Stephen Bardwell said that he met Steve Jobs in 1995. And you can chat in the chat box. You can ask questions. And I'm going to ask each coach to give a final thought on today, on what we discussed. And then I'm going to allow you to open the mics or to open your mic and to interact with the coaches. Let's start with the coaches in the way that we've done. And Carl, your last thoughts or your thoughts on today.
Thank you, Daniel. I love listening to the stories and stuff like that. And I love biographies. And Steve Jobs is also one of the favorite characters that I like looking at. But thinking about that, all of the biographies that I've seen about like amazing people. And in fact, this weekend I watched a movie of Steve Jobs, and all of these guys, what the main difference between what they between ordinary people and what they became is a mindset. So all of them, Steve Jobs, all of them, they had this mindset of purpose. So their mindset was that I'm here for a purpose. There's value in what I bring. They believed in themselves and in their dream or in their vision. All of them, they had a vision for something. And Steve Jobs, with everything he tackled, he had a vision for that, whatever it was. The computer, when it started off with the box, and then when he went over to Pixabay. And oftentimes he would announce his vision before, not often, every single time he announced his vision before it was possible. And because he did that, he forced people to come in line with what his vision was, because if they didn't want to, they didn't have a job. So it's just as simple as that. So when you think about your life, there's a reason why you have a vision, why you have a dream, why you have these ideas in you of doing something or going somewhere or being something or creating something or influencing something. There's a reason why you have that dream and that vision. It's because you were meant to create that. And so when you think about the day you were born and the day you die, and the dash in between is what Marius said. It's the minute you figure out why you're here. That's the dash, is the minute you figure out why. I was watching I could carry on forever. I'll close with this. I was watching a biography of Rockefeller. Rockefeller he started this oil foundry, and he had no money, and he was going to meet one of the influential guys, and he booked his train ticket and he missed the train, and the train had an accident and everyone was killed in the train accident. So he came back and he was shocked. He took like a whole week. And in that time, he realized that he was spared for a purpose. He was going to go hat in hand to go and beg for someone to help support him. And he had that mind shift of what, I'm here for a purpose, I'm valuable. And he went with a totally different mindset to that meeting. People said he was a different person after that week, because he realized that he had a purpose. You have a purpose. That dash, it's not just time, it's a purpose. Daniel, sorry, I can carry on forever.
Cool, Carl. Thank you. And we love it. We would listen to you forever, but we don't have time to talk to ever today. Tertius, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's one of the dashes that we sometimes see between the birth and the passing is that squiggle. And I would encourage you to not just think of the time between birth and death, but also in the seasons of your life. And often in that season, we start on a high, and then we hit resistance, and we go into a dip, and then we go on to a high again. I think it's showing correctly. Donnie, the last one is showing up, because mine is mirrored. So otherwise, my example would have failed. But the last part of whatever that season is going up. And I would encourage you, no matter where you are in that season, beware or be aware. Beware or be aware of the dips in between. Don't be discouraged by the dips in between. Make sure that you end it on a high. Now that's it from me, so over to Nick.
A lot of wisdom there. Yeah, I'm just thinking in this life, and I think Stephen has written something of the sort in the chat box. In this life, there will be suffering, there's hardship, there are tough stuff that we go through, often not chosen for ourselves or by ourselves. And even in this journey, in this dash, there are many times that we are set before things that we need to sacrifice for the higher purpose. You know, the why, the purpose, as Carl has said. And I often think that some people, because they haven't discovered the why, they haven't defined it for themselves, their own why, their own purpose, that they too go through suffering, and they too have to sacrifice certain things in life. And that experience would be so different than if you, in any case, are going through suffering and are going to make sacrifices, but with a purpose. It's a much different experience to sacrifice for a purpose than to just sacrifice and you don't know why. So that makes it so imperative that we discover that why, discover that purpose, define it, understand it for ourselves. And then just the last thought, unlike Carl, I can carry on forever. There's this little video, it just came to mind before Donnie asked about, they asked people and they videoing them, asking them if they had the opportunity to have lunch with anyone. Who would they like to have lunch with? Some people said no. They mentioned presidents or very influential people or movie stars or sports stars, and all of the adults know that this person or that person or so. And then they brought these people, parents, kids, and they asked them the same question: who would you like to have lunch with? More than 80% of them said, I would like to have lunch with my mother or father. Keep that in mind, because that's also part of the greatness of this life. Is not just to go out there and achieve, but also to take care of that which is entrusted to you. Donnie.
Sorry, let me find the unmute button. Thank you, Nico. Yes, I agree with you. We can actually take this topic and we can sit here till tonight, but we don't have that time. And yes, sure. Just thinking, reminiscing on one's life. And it's always important to know the people that you impact for what. The people that you impact with what. And it's important that we leave something behind. And what you leave behind that you're not taking with you is those people that's in your faith pavilion, those people that will one day sit and say, but this is who you are, that is what you've done. And the main thing for you and I is to make sure that we live our life to the fullest. That, as Carl and Nico has talked about this morning, your why. If you have your why, if you know your why, if you know why you on this earth, if you know why, you will have a purpose, and your purpose will, above all, be the thing driving you. And if you find an honorable purpose, that will drive you for people to remind you by, to say, but that's what that person meant. And every one of us want people to someday say, but that's what it is. But I don't want them to say it one day. I want them to say it today. I am a pastor in one of my other lives that I live while I'm your Waymarker coach. And I get to do funerals on a more regular basis than anyone would want to. And it's always important for me to go find the truth about the person, to go and say and talk the truth about the person and not to make up a story. So it's not always easy. But make sure that you optimize your little dash. And thank you to every one of you, making a difference in your life, making a difference in your family, making a difference in the love that you spread, and finding yourself onto this program to journey with 5 coaches to go and show you your blind spots so that you, when once confronted with them, they're known to you and you have to go work on them. So I can also journey and talk for another hour, but our time's up. Marius, your last thoughts.
Yes, I'm going to be short and sweet. Just from my side, celebrate the past, but plan your future, because the best times in your life, they are yet to come. See your life as a farmer's field. Sow the seeds, work that ground, and you will see the fruit of your works. Thank you, Daniël.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. And I've opened the mics. Any one of you in the room, if you would like to share something, if you would like to say something, you are welcome now to unmute and to contribute, or you can type away. And Jason, I see that you unmuted, buddy.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. We know that we've gone through a crypto winter in the last 7 months, and myself as a TA, technical analysis, I speak to your audience obviously on a weekly basis, and you're always trying to encourage that audience why crypto is so good, why you have to be in crypto. And I must say, in the last 7 months has been a hell of a challenge. And every time you think that you really are at the bottom of the cycle now, we're going to start moving up, you know what happens? A few days later, it drops even more. And it's so disheartening where you've encouraged people by saying this has to be the bottom now. price has to start moving up. You need to be in crypto, and you feel like you're letting people down at the end of the day. But you can even ask Donnie, you know, I come onto a crypto talk on a Monday, and sometimes when prices drop, you feel just so disheartened. You actually don't want to talk anymore. You've gone, they call it a crypto winter, but this winter has been ever long. And yeah, but we know that after night, what comes after night? The sun shines again. So the tide will turn, and we will start moving up again. So I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Cool.
By the way, Tertius, I like that squiggle on top of your head there. Behind your head.
Yeah, the crypto winter is the dip in the middle.
Yeah, Tertius, I want to add to Jason. And Jason, you know how cool it is that your squiggle, your dash will not be determined by what the crypto price has done, but those people that you influenced. And you said what you said about coming on to crypto talk and having to talk to people and being positive, even when it's negative in the market. And that's because you're congruent. That's because you're congruent to who you are and to bring out the truth, to talk the truth and not to hype people into stuff. And we honor and thank you for that. So thank you, Jason. Someone else that would like to add something? You are allowed to unmute should you would like to contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, that seems to me that the time is up. And thank you, coaches. I've given you everyone time to say your last words. So I'm not going to do that again because we're going to be here. Thank you for the participants. Thank you for everyone on this journey with us. It's an absolute privilege for everyone, every one of these coaches. Whenever we get together, whenever we spend time to one another, we always honor you, the participants in the program, because we learn so much from you. You help and assist us and guide us and show us what is happening out there with real people in the real world. And we just want to come and encourage you and say, go find yourself and be the best version of you, because that's the best thing you can do for your family, for yourself, and for that dash. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a good one. Go and be blessed. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Thanks.